everyone, thanks for jumping on today and joining me, because what better way to start your day off than to eat candy, right? So I want to thank you for hopping on here and introduce myself. My name is Jessica and I'm from 20 Dishes, and today I am going to be showing you how to make a healthy candy. So I have linked to the full recipe in the video description for this, and then also included in that blog post that I linked to are some other ideas for healthy candies too. So a lot of people feel like when they switch over to real food and healthy eating that candy is a thing of the past. So yes, your traditional store-bought candies are quite often going to need to be a thing of the past, because they're going to be filled with all sorts of highly processed sugars, artificial flavors, artificial colors, and just all sorts of junk in there. But you can still make healthy candy at home. So I'm going to show you one of my favorite recipes today. It is for my sea salted hazelnut chocolate bark. Crazy easy. You only need like 4 or 5 ingredients, and it's a cinch to make. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Before I do, I want to let you guys know that this week we are actually running a sale on our gluten-free flours. So even though I'm not using any gluten-free flour in this candy recipe, some of the candy recipes that I link to in the blog post in the video description will use some gluten-free flours. And also gluten-free flours, they're perfect for your holiday baking, or they would even make really great gifts for the bakers in your life as well. So this week only you can save 15% on all of our flours. There's no minimums, there's no maximums, and you also get free shipping too, so it saves you some extra money right there as well. So my question of the day for you guys: what is your all-time favorite candy? What is the one candy that you just have had a hard time getting rid of, or you just always go back to because you just love it so much? I'd love if you'd leave me a comment down in the comment section below, because I'm going to try to recreate some of those in a healthy fashion. I'm not going to guarantee that I can recreate everything you guys put. Like, I don't know how to recreate a Twizzler, but if you give me some ideas, the things that you'd like to see recipes on, then I would be happy to recreate those for you. So leave me a comment down below. What's your favorite candy? Also, I want to tell you a little bit about 20 Dishes. So for those of you that may be new to me and new to 20 Dishes, first of all, welcome. And my name is Jessica. I'm a real food wellness educator, and I'm certifying in 2017 as a nutrition coach as well. Real food has been a big part of my whole life. I actually grew up in a real food household, eating very minimal, if any, processed foods, refined sugars, that kind of stuff. My mom was having us eat healthy, and she was buying organic far before it was considered cool. So I grew up with a really great foundation with real food. Get into high school and college and moving out and starting my life, I kind of took some major detours. So forget the real food and go eat some junk food and enjoy that Taco Bell and all that stuff. So the crazy nutrition choices that kids make, right? So in my late 20s, I started developing some health problems, and I knew that I had to come back to diet as being the foundation of creating a good life, a good healthy life. So, nutrition has to be the foundation of everything. So if you're not eating healthy, if you're not putting good food in, you're not going to be getting good stuff out of your body. So real food's always been a major part of my life. And then Kelly or Letha and I met a few years ago, and we all have the same mission to help people eat better and live better. But one of the things that really deters people is the amount of time that healthy eating takes. So we really just formulated 20 Dishes. We created a system that worked for us, that allowed us to be able to get meals done quicker, and then we decided that we could share it with other people too. So that's how 20 Dishes was born, and we are on a mission to change the lives of 1 million people through real food, and we'd love to have you join us. There's a bunch of different ways that you can join us to help further this mission. One way is to just share this video. So if you know somebody that's going to be interested in this chocolate candy recipe, hit share and share that with them. That just lets us know that you guys want more videos like this. So now that we're all done with that, let's dive into the recipe. Okay, so the first thing I did was I melted down some chocolate. So for this recipe, you only need a few things. You're gonna need some chocolate chips. So for this recipe, I'm using the Lily's dark chocolate brand. This is a stevia and erythritol sweetened chocolate chip, but you could use any kind of chocolate chip you want, or you could even use your favorite chocolate bar and then just chop it up into little pieces and melt it down that way. So whatever chocolate you want. This is a 9-ounce bag, but one thing I will tell you about making chocolate barks is it's really forgiving. So you don't really need a recipe for it. You can just put some stuff in, some flavors, whatever you want. You don't need to have exact proportions when it comes to the chocolate bark. It's super forgiving. So I used a 9-ounce package of the Lily's chocolate chips. To that, I added about 1/4 cup of butter. So I recommend whenever you're making homemade chocolates that you add some extra fat in there, either some butter or some coconut oil. The fat really helps the chocolate develop a really silky, really smooth texture. You can definitely make it without the extra fat, but the texture is not as great in my experience. So I would recommend adding in a little bit of extra fat. So what I did was I melted 1 package. See that beautiful melted chocolate? So good. I melted 1 package of the Lily's chocolate chips and about 1/4 cup of grass-fed butter and a double boiler. So a double boiler is essentially just 2 pots stacked. So this is still warm. It's going to take about 15 minutes to melt down your chocolate over low heat. So I wanted to save time on this video and not have it take, like 45 minutes. So I went ahead and melted the chocolate and the butter together in a double boiler. The double boiler helps it from burning. You're still going to heat it over low heat, but sometimes it can get a little bit too hot. Chocolate, it can be finicky. So essentially, see if I can do this without burning. This is just a glass Pyrex bowl that sits in one of my stainless steel soup pots. So it fits in there perfectly. So you don't need to buy a special double boiler if you don't already have one. Just find a pot, either glass or another metal pot that'll fit in one of your soup pots, and just use that for a double boiler. You'll put a little bit of water in the bottom. You want the water to be just below the bottom of the top pot or bowl, whatever you're using, so that the water's not quite touching it, but is almost there. So you're gonna melt down your chocolate and your butter or your coconut oil over low heat until it's completely smooth. And then once it's smooth, we're going to add about a quarter of a teaspoon of vanilla bean powder. You could also use liquid vanilla extract. You just need to make sure you stir it really, really well to get that liquid mixed into the cocoa. So I've got some ground vanilla beans here. So I'm gonna add about a quarter of a teaspoon into this. I really, really love vanilla flavor, and I add it to pretty much any kind of sweet treat that I make. I just feel like it really enhances the flavor of pretty much anything. So I'm stirring the vanilla bean powder into the chocolate, making sure that it is completely mixed up in there. So that is nice and smooth. And so now you have a couple of options. Once you have your base, which is your melted chocolate and your butter, coconut oil, and your vanilla, you really can add whatever you want to it. So today I'm doing a sea salted hazelnut bark. You could add any kind of nuts or seeds or dried fruit or dried coconut. If you wanted to do like a holiday one, you could do some peppermint extract in there. You could add some chopped peppermint candies if you wanted, or like candy canes. They're really, the sky's the limit. Once you have your base of the chocolate, you can add everything, anything that you want in there. So have fun and experiment. I have been completely addicted to hazelnut and sea salt flavors recently, so that's why I wanted to share my hazelnut recipe with you. So here I have about a cup of toasted hazelnuts. Now, because I was kind of lazy, I didn't remove the skins. So you can see that the hazelnuts still have the brown skins on there. If I was making this for a gift for somebody, or I was going to have it at like a get-together or something, I would probably take the time to soak these for a little while in some warm water and then remove the skins before I dehydrated or toasted them. That way you get like a really clean, like here's one, the skin fell off. So you get a really, I just dropped it. Uh-oh. So you get a really clean hazelnut, so it just looks a little bit better, but I really don't care because these are not really for anything special. So I've got about a cup of toasted hazelnuts. I just toasted them lightly in a frying pan a little while ago until they were kind of a little bit golden brown, and it really helps just bring out the flavor of the hazelnut. You could also use any kind of soaked or dehydrated nuts. So if you're if you're a traditional foodie and you do soaking and sprouting and dehydrating, then just use your soaked and sprouted dehydrated nuts in here as well. And then these came whole, and I actually just took a meat pounder, stuck all of the whole hazelnuts in a bag, and I just used the meat pounder to crack them up so that they were smaller. So you have two options with your add-ins. You can either add them in to the chocolate, stir them up until it's all combined, or you can spread your chocolate out on either a greased sheet or a sheet lined with wax paper or parchment paper. I'm using a Silpat here today. So whatever you've got, just make sure that you've got a way to get it off. If you don't have any wax paper or parchment paper, grease a pan with butter or coconut oil so that you can get it off once it's chilled. So you could just spread your chocolate here and then sprinkle all of your toppings on the top if you like. Sometimes that's really pretty if you're using multiple colors for things, but I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm going to take my toasted hazelnuts and dump those right into the melted chocolate, and I'm just going to stir those around till they are nice and smooth. And then once that's all mixed up, move all of this stuff over. I have a Silpat here that's just on a cookie sheet, and that's what I'm using to pour my chocolate on. The other thing you're going to need for this recipe, I think I forgot to mention it, is some sort of really coarse sea salt. So this is the Maldon sea salt flakes. I really love these. They're really big, pretty flakes. They're really hard to see in here, but they make really, really pretty toppings on things. So I'm using that, but you could use any kind of coarse sea salt that you want. So let's see if this bowl is cold enough for me to use. So I'm going to just spread out the melted chocolate with whatever toppings you want in here. I'm going to pour this onto my Silpat. And then I'm just going to spread it around. So you can make this as thin or as thick as you want. So I'm going to just spread this around and make it maybe about 1/4 of an inch thick. But you can make it super thick or you can make it super thin, however you like. So that's probably about 1/4 of an inch right there. And then I'm going to just take a generous pinch of my sea salt and I'm going to sprinkle this over it. So sprinkle your sea salt from really high up because this makes sure that it is evenly distributed. So if you're ever watching the Cooking Network or the Food Network or Cooking Channel, you'll see that like the professional chefs usually are like way up here sprinkling the salt. That's because it gives you a better distribution, more even distribution. So I'm going to come up really high and just sprinkle these sea salt flakes all over the melted chocolate. And you can add, that was a huge flake right there. You can add as much or as little sea salt as you want. Sea salt is great for you. I know we've all been scared of salt, but sea salt has really great minerals in it. It's an excellent source of minerals, so don't be afraid to use a little bit of sea salt. Just stay away from the refined, highly processed salt. Blech. So we have the chocolate bark. So it's all spread out on the Silpat. The salt is on there. It's got the nuts in it. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick it in my freezer for about 2 to 3 hours until it's frozen solid. And then you take it out and you break it up into little pieces. And I actually have some in the fridge that I forgot to pull out. I have a batch that I made earlier. And here it is, the final product. So you can see the beautiful chunk of hazelnut with sea salt chocolate bark. I mean, yum. Come on. And it's melting everywhere. So if you use coconut oil as your fat in the chocolate, you may need to store it in the fridge because the coconut oil can start to melt at room temperature if your house is really warm. If you use the butter, you can store it at room temperature in an airtight container. It may start to get pretty soft, so if you need to get it to firm up again, just toss it in the fridge. Or you can just keep it in the fridge or the freezer for long-term storage if you need. So this makes excellent gifts for people. Great sweet treat, only takes like 4 or 5 really easy ingredients. And nothing processed, nothing refined, nothing nasty. So really easy to make. So if you want the full recipe, I have linked to the blog post over on our 20 Dishes blog. It's in the video description below, and there you'll get the recipe for the bark, and you'll also get a bunch of other recipe ideas for other healthy candies. So if you're making candy baskets for the holidays, there's some great healthy ideas in there. I also just wanted to remind you guys for the gluten-free flour sale to take advantage of that for this week. And also, if you're new to 20 Dishes and you want to check out our meal plans, we offer a 5-day free meal plan download. You get instant access to it for 5 dietary styles that we offer. So we have paleo, AIP, which is the autoimmune protocol, vegetarian, gluten-free, and then a classic clean eating meal plan. So there's a link in the video description where you can download a free 5-day meal plan. You can use just one of those dietary styles, or you can use all 5 and check it out and just see what really sets 20 Dishes apart in the meal planning world. So that is it for today. I'm going to stick this in the freezer, and then I'm going to portion these up and give them to some family and friends so that I don't sit around and eat all of them. But make sure you guys tune in tomorrow because Kelly is going to be live showing you guys how to make some awesome little paleo cookies in a jar gifts for this holiday season. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. And then Orletha is going to be live on Thursday sharing a really easy, really delicious chicken finger recipe as well. So thanks so much for tuning in today. It's been a lot of fun, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I would absolutely love to chat with you guys. I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.